We're still in part one, and this is what I consider advanced symbolism, and we're going to look at the concept of the Baphomet. We begin with none other than Aleister Crowley, the famous Satanist. This is an image of his website, the Grand Lodge Ordo Templi Orientis. It has its roots in Freemasonry and secret societies and the mystery religions, which is essentially Luciferian doctrine. We have his logo that you saw earlier, and I just wanted to show you this image is on his website so that I can explain that this same image that is gotten here is not photoshopped to include this, what I'm going to show you. So we have here these images, and this is the name of Baphomet, B-A-P-H-O-M-E-T, and you see this sign here, which is a triple cross, and this is a little bit adorned with the serifs on the edge of the cross, so you can understand that that is the sigil of Baphomet, the symbol of Baphomet. The other things that he's handwritten here. He is a Freemason, so you can see he is an older man. He's more decorated as a Freemason. One thing to note here is this is a Maltese cross, and we're going to see that in part two. Understand what that is fully, maybe even in the end of this section, part one. So I wanted to show you that this is a poster that was done by an occultist and Satanist, Madame Talbot. She was an actress. And when Aleister Crowley died, she made this poster for him, and it's riddled with all of this satanic symbolism. And one in particular I want to show you is the Baphomet. So you see this handwritten, or not handwritten, but stylized Baphomet, and you see this being here. This is the goat head. It has a Luciferian torch of enlightenment. It is an angelic being. It has female breasts and a male phallus, and the male phallus has serpents intertwining, i.e. like a DNA strand or a double helix. You have legs that are of the goat's legs. You also have this entity doing the as above, so below sign. As above, heaven, the male, below, female, and also this two-finger sign is the sign of the benediction. We'll see that in this series. You also have this moon here, and well, there's no moon below, but you'll see the moon below on this section. The white moon and that black moon, the dual symbology going on. So again, Baphomet, now you see the symbol of Baphomet here is this goat entity, angelic entity, and you see the symbol of Baphomet on both sides of this entity here. You also see other occult symbols. This is the eye of Horus or Lucifer with the down pointing triangle. I believe she did the down pointing to represent Earth because down pointing represents that. Ordo Templi Orientis with this crown, you see. This is riddled with occult symbols. Love is the law. There is no law beyond. Love under will, so self-will. Do what thou wilt. Okay, we have magic, mysticism. That's the New Age is all about that. You have two Egyptian obelisks. This is a testimony to what religion it is. The occult has the same idea, Alpha and Omega, going on. You see and so you see this counterfeit going on. I want you to understand the counterfeit concept going back on that. This is the up-facing pentagram and the down-facing pentagram. You see all of this. You see the elements here that we saw in the pentagram as well by Aleister Crowley. 666 here, and then you see what looks like 418, but this is actually the down-facing yoni symbol, which is a female part. And I don't know too much about this other than I believe it's part of the writing, and it's some type of a number going on. You see the 7-pointed star here. You see now this Masonic symbology that you see on tracing boards in Masonry. You see all of these occult astrological signs adorning this. And is there anything else in here that I can show you? No, I think that's it. So we're going on with this entity, which is a satanic entity. You see this used in extensively, and I'm sure you've seen it before relating to Satanism. This is Eliphas Levi. He was an occultist, and this is called also the Goat of Mendes, and you see there's that being there. Sovereign Grand Commanders of Freemasonry. Here's the Sovereign Grand Commander of the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree, and this is in Washington, D.C., is the head of Freemasonry in this country, in this jurisdiction. You can see they wear the sigil or the symbol of Baphomet at the top and the head and the cap. And you can see him. He is a 33rd degree Freemason. You see that with this illuminated triangle and this illumination, 33 degrees is that illumination. You also have this strange similarity and these counterfeits with Jesus starting his ministry at 30 and dying at the age of 33. Very interesting similarities, but they are fundamentally different because they were complete opposite of what you would imagine them to be. So you have the double-headed eagle and the emblem of the 33rd degree here. And so also you see all the symbols back there. He's sitting on a worshipful master's chair, and the emblem of the 33rd degree chair is behind him. And so that is one of those top Freemasons. And there are more degrees after the 33rd degree, these people that you don't even see in this, and there are here up to 99 degrees, just to inform you with that. I just can't believe, and just looking at this image, that people can actually dress up like this and put these emblems on. I mean, there is an underlying spiritual thing to this whole thing, that people would even adorn themselves in this manner and just look so proud. And I mean, just look at it with your own eyes. Now, moving on, this is Albert Pike. He is known as the Pope of Freemasonry. And you can see that he uses this non-adorned triple cross on his necklace. Albert Pike, Grand Commander. He is known as a Confederate general of the South. He is also involved with the KKK, and he is the only man that has ever been laid to rest. His tomb is actually within this Masonic building. This is the Washington, D.C. Lodge. It is 13 blocks from the White House. We'll see that later. But you can see the Egyptian sphinxes. You can see there's 33 columns around this building, and this is a replica of Haile Karnassus. This I forget how to pronounce it, but it also includes this pyramid at the top without the cap. Within this building is the temple room, and you can see that this is a place of religion. And so here's the altar, and you see the worshipful master will sit in the east. And having a closer look at this temple room, on both sides of this are serpents, and those particular serpents are feathered serpents, and you can see the feather here on the edge. So they are in fact serpents, dragon serpents. And now you can see where the worshipful master sits. There is the sigil of Baphomet, and Baphomet is a representation of Satan and Lucifer, a demonic entity that way. Moving on to literature or correspondence of the Ordo Templi Orientis, and you can see this typed out, and Baphomet now with a handwritten symbol there. Ordo Baphometis. You can see the down-pointing cross as well in the center. Ordum Magic, Hermeticism, and Gnosticism, and those are all interrelated. We'll understand in the religious section in part 2 of where those originate from. Buzz Aldrin with the flag that apparently went to the moon, and this was at on the New Age magazine. And here's the flag in its presentation, and this is the flag here with the sigil of Baphomet. Here's the double-headed eagle with that crown and that 33-degree emblem, and the square and compass of Freemasonry with that G, the generative principle there, and their concept of dualism in that fashion. And now you can see cartoons are showing this sigil of Baphomet. They wear this on the top of the cap. This is interracial. Doesn't matter anymore. It used to be that they would not accept other races. It's completely global and ubiquitous in this fashion. Now, this is a key because this is an example of how intelligence works. They throw in a smokescreen, and this is a perfect example of a smokescreen. They're saying, oh, these Freemasons, they're all worshiping Baphomet. Look at them. They're worshiping this weird goat head, Luciferian torch, and this goat's feet. They're all worshiping. So they're like, oh no, they're all worshiping. Oh my goodness, this is the Leotaxil hoax. And there they are on the inside. And this is an example how the smokescreen is laid. And even to this day, when I tell people, hey, this is a concept of Lucifer, and we're going to see the similarity between this Baphomet being an Eastern culture and one of those religions, one of the chief deities that they admire and worship there with regard to this androgyny and animal characteristics. So here's Knights Templar. This is I believe is an 18th degree initiation. So now you have a connection between Freemasonry and the Knights Templar. This guy, I think, is wearing a square, similar to they wear different adornments. And so there's an example that this was a clear hoax, just to throw the smokescreen out there that, oh, it's ridiculous that they're worshiping this type of creature. Now you can see here, this is a reference to Genesis 6, the sons of God or angelic beings coming on and intermingling with the daughters of men or human beings. And Genesis 6, you can read all about that and this idea of angelic beings intermingling and having children, and they were called giants or Nephilim. In this case, now you have Jachin and Boaz, which is a reference to the Jewish temple, and I can assure you that these are just smokescreens as well. They admire that temple, and they admire Solomon in the Bible going into idolatry. That's what they worship rather than the true temple, and you'll see that in Freemasonry and the opposite way that they actually lay out their lodges opposite to the true temple. So you have now Mason, and looks like he's blindfolded. Here's the goat idea, the goat concept. Here's the eye to all free and accepted Masons. Now you can see here, these are essentially the pillars of Hercules, and you have the earth and the moon on there, and we'll see that counterfeit symbolism. This is a New Age emblem. I'm not sure where it comes from, I forget, but you see Ordo Templi Orientis, and you see now some type of a creature. I don't know if that's even a goat, but the same similarities of androgyny, female breasts, angelic. You have these symbols around. INR, INRI, and I don't know, there's something cryptic about that. We see that in Catholicism on the top of the cross, but then we have the sun discs, winged sun discs of Egypt, unicorns, and all of this occult imagery. Let's look at Baphomet here, and this is quintessential satanic symbolism, a tribute to Iron Maiden, and the use of the Baphomet there, right in plain sight, the number of the beast. The number one beast in this case. And you can see the same use of Baphomet. Pretty standard satanic stuff, if you can understand it. They even put the moon here and all of this symbolism. Now this is Tenacious D, and that's Jack Black. And these guys grow up doing this stuff. And this is another form of Baphomet here with bat wings and a different style of beast. And you can see that they have the pentagram within the circle and the candles. And now on the back of that album, they're babies chained up to this Baphomet or Satan. So they're basically in chains to Satan, and this is a tarot card as the devil, and you can see the similarity between that being and this exact being with the down-facing star and the pentagram. It's satanic. Bottom line, this is the sign of Vulcan. And Vulcan is another satanic sign. There's a god of Vulcan, and one of the albums of Aerosmith we'll see in this last section of this part 2 is that Satan always has different disguises. So you see man and woman and their indoctrination as the seed line of the serpent or Satan, and they're chained to Satan. This is the reality that they live in, and what we all live in, and what we need to get out of. This is now, you see Star Trek and Vulcan, the sign of Vulcan. I know it sounds silly, but they own the industries. They write the stories for you to watch, and they literally indoctrinate you into their religion while you don't even have a clue. Another tarot card, and you can see similarities. Also, female breasts that way. These beings have different ears as well. So, in a sense, Spock ears. So you have now the devil again as the fiddler, and you can see the sun with lightning bolts, and now the goat playing the fiddle, and an ad with Palladia magazine. This is pretty. They actually repeated this ad for a long time. They probably still do, but anyway, there's the devil with a fiddle, and this music television. Moving on with a Getty image, and like I said, Getty images have these symbolisms in there. They like to put those symbolisms in there. And Kanye West with the goat head t-shirt. He's wearing a beast. This may be a goat or another beast. It doesn't really matter if it's a goat either. I found out that it's all kinds of horned animals that they use for this symbology. So Kanye West, Jay-Z. This one here shows a little bit of a goat form. You can see that there. And it's more of like an ink blot, so it's really meant to kind of just distract you and play with your mind. But I believe that there is a goat form within that sign. So he's promoting that. And you can understand that that would be the case. Beyonce, and she wears the horned animals, and she's pointing to her ring in this video. It's a little blurry there. Now the recycling of this horned animal again, and this shield bikers thing, and look at the recycling of that between different puppets. And then Lady Gaga and her horned hats. She wears all kinds of things. You can see this guy now putting the horns on the head and having that horned animal, and again her videographer. LL Cool J, it's no coincidence that he names this the return of the GOTE, greatest of all time, a way to just sort of distract you to say, oh, that's not the goat, but look, this guy is all about it, and you see what he does. So going back to the Slayer logo, and you can see that that's the pentagram, and here's the Baphomet creature. We saw that earlier. The Rolling Stones, and their goat's head stoop, and a reference, and this is not against Satan, it's just another way to represent it. Don't think that they're trying to boil Satan and eat him, and therefore they're against Satan. Give me a break if you believe that kind of opposite psychology. Exorcist, now I took this image at Target, and the hidden object that you have for your 10-year-old plus is none other than the satanic Baphomet. So hidden object thriller, they are indoctrinating you into religion, their religion, and we think it's all fantasy. This is a pretty key image here. Now this gives you the link between Freemasonry and Satanism or Luciferianism. Wiz Khalifa in his video. This is a split second. You actually have to stop the video in order to find it. And so a split second subliminal imagery, and you have this young boy doing the sign of Satan, and then you have now the goat's head in the star with the keystone, and the keystone is a reference to Freemasonry. So you can see that there and that connection. This is the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, and it's giving you this understanding of as above, so below. As above, so below is symbolized by this prelate or priest giving the Il Cornuto horned devil sign, one hand pointing up and one down. Message: Lucifer and Christ shall be reconciled with the Masonic great architect of the universe, reigning in heaven, on earth, and in hell. That is their belief, that they believe that Christ and Satan are going to be reconciled. My goodness, what a joke. So this merging of black and white dualism, and that's where you get that understanding of this, of their philosophy and their religion. So here's a priest doing that devil sign. As above, so below. Again, a shadow ink drawing of Count Cagliostro, whose magic and Satanism inspired the Order of the Illuminati and its bloody French Revolution, so now claiming the revolution. It is said that American diplomat Benjamin Franklin studied and practiced the magic of Cagliostro, drawing from the book Witchcraft, Magic, and the Supernatural. So here's a depiction of Ben Franklin doing the as above, so below sign. It can be farther from the truth that this nation was founded by Christians, real, true Christians. They always put on the veil of Christianity so that they look and smell and feel like what they should be, and they're the exact opposite. Let's not get deceived, please. And I was deceived into all of that, and their media, they own everything. So here again is that Baphomet symbol. Moving on to now the magician. I showed you this tarot card before, the as above, so below sign. This infinity symbol is that idea of alpha and omega, never ending, eternal. It is their symbol that we understand even in mathematics. This is a key symbol, Lady Gaga, now closing one eye, single eye symbolism, eye of Lucifer, doing the sign of the benediction. This is not quite as above, so below, but you have these doves descending. And I'm telling you, the occult has the same thing. They have this dove descending representing Holy Spirit. All it is a counterfeit. You have to understand fundamentally what the difference is, and that's why I call this advanced symbolism, is because very easily, and they've done this before, is that they can say that all religions are the same. No. Read the writings. Understand what Jesus is saying when he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to me I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. So understand that, please. Here is the Pazuzu. This was actually in the movie The Exorcist, I believe, and you can see Pazuzu. This is a demon god. He is called the god of the whirlwind. A very interesting part of this is that George W. Bush's second inaugural speech said that, and to the effect that, don't you know that an angel rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm? They use this occult linguistic symbolism within their speeches to show that their allegiance to this. And this is an angel in the whirlwind. This is four-winged creature, bird's head. So you have this bird's feet. Interesting symbology. We're going to see that east-west revealing itself that way as well. This is basically Satan as well. So this is now the movie Matrix, as above, so below, when he enters into that Matrix realm. And then this is 2012 Super Bowl, and you can see here she's doing this two fingers attached symbol. We'll get into that later at the end, but this is distinct after the performance that she does this pose after this particular section in the performance. So now moving along, here is Lil Wayne, and we can see this as above, so below sign. And now, look, you may think that it's nothing, but I'm telling you, look at the context of what they do it in. Everything they do is staged, and they do things for a reason. Here is Rihanna, as above, so below, and we're going to see that stuff happening and how they do it. Oh yeah, it looks so innocent. Thumbs up, thumbs down, right? This balance of opposites, this duality going on, as above, so below. I'll tell you what, look. Oh yeah, they're pointing up and down. Ah, that's innocent, right? That's a dance move. Guess what? This is the top Korean pop band called SHINee, and their second album called Lucifer. So this song is actually entitled Lucifer, and they, at the end of the song, they freeze and point as above, so below. I'm telling you, this is all satanic Luciferian stuff. Don't get trapped into it, and wake up if you're just ignorant to all of this, and understand that you have a spirit that is living inside you. This is my belief. You don't have to believe it, but I'm telling you, please investigate it for yourself, and don't condemn it first without investigating it. Look at SpongeBob here. This is a whole show that was Masonic. It was wearing this Masonic fez, which is the same one that FDR uses, a Shriner Freemason. You see the crescent moon here, and then doing the as above, so below sign with the satanic sign. Can it be any more clearer? Even on a cartoon, yeah, it's laughable. No, it's not laughable. I'm telling you, please understand that you're being programmed on this level. Even for the Christian, believe me, ignorance to this is really is an ignorance to the reality of the world that we live in. As a Christian, we're just like, whoa. Most Christians are just like oblivious to this. Oh, let's not focus on this stuff. We got to be fully aware of what's going on so that we can be fully witnessing to the state of the world completely, knowing the world and knowing the Word completely in a balance and an understanding of how deep this is and this goes. And so look at them doing. Now this is a life shot, and you can see here, oh yeah, it looks real innocent. She has her arm down, but she's pointing above with the sign of the benediction or the peace sign, and she's doing it with her other hand. So you know in context that that's what she's doing. We saw this image before, as above, so below. Tyra Banks. Now we understand now that that Saturday Night Fever dance by this Scientology guy. Scientology is sex and magic. Magic and sex. Sex magic cult. And so not only do they do that Hollywood with the eye in the pyramid sign, but you also understand now this dance is the as above, so below dance. Another variant of that, the way to represent that is the reflection, as above, so below, in this case on the magazine. And here's another example of that. As above, so below. He's doing the sign of the benediction, which is the Baphomet sign. As above, the reflection, so below. Not only that, you have pyramids and this occult symbology. You have Eastern dragon or lion going on there as well. Here's the anarchy symbol, and then the anarchy symbol, here's the yin and yang symbol in the same fashion or photo shoot. So it's staged that way to give you this idea of dualism. As above, so below, black, white, dualism. Now when you see an image like this with Donald Trump, it's no coincidence there's a reflection going on. So they use this reflection, and it's a symbol. So if you're initiated, you understand that this is a deliberate thing rather than just, oh, let's take a picture and have a reflection of you. I hope you can understand and fully grasp this. We'll continue on. Okay, let's move along. Showing you, continuing on with this as above, so below concept. This is Uncharted 3. This is the third series in a series by a video game called Uncharted. I happen to play these video games, and I just want you to understand that, you know, video games and movies and whatnot, I don't play them or watch them just by pure entertainment anymore. But I was fascinated with this game because of the gameplay and all that. I'm not a gamer at all. That PlayStation can sit around for a while, but when a game comes around like this, it's enjoyable. But I'll tell you what, interestingly enough, this is now this is actually was for teens, but this, even from the first one to the third one indoctrinated you into occult understanding and occult mysteries. And this particular one, the third one, was about this as above, so below concept. John Dee was a major factor and a player in this, and understanding who he is and this idea of as above, so below. John Dee just happened to have this 7-pointed star with the pentagram in the center, and this is all in the video game. You can see that, and of course Aleister Crowley used his 7-pointed star as well. You can see Aleister Crowley also uses the yin and yang sign and the down-pointed pentagram, as well as this articulated as above, so below star. And so John Dee, going back, this as above, so below concept is also ingrained even in the pyramid structures. You have 3 pyramids, and you have 3 stars in the belt of Osiris, which is in this case it's Osiris. And so you can understand now the mimicking of earth and heaven. And this is not just ancient stuff where, oh, civilizations don't do that. They didn't have an understanding scientifically, therefore they're doing this. Believe me, all of this religion is still with us today completely, and we as the masses are blinded to that as they were in the past. So they are externalizing their religion onto the masses. And I want you to understand that as we get into the second half of this, you'll understand what their goals are. So you can see alchemy, the understanding of elements, sun, moon, elements, and water as well. And this is in the video game showing you that this is John D, and you can see now that symbol. You can actually go through these sun and moon symbols and go through and end up there. So it's the joining of symbols as well as you go through these puzzles in the game. This is As Above, So Below on album covers. Sacred geometry as well. Skateboards. And continuing on. As above, so below. And this is Jewish mysticism or Kabbalah. And you can see now this person has a light side and a dark side, a dark triangle, a light triangle. So these triangles up and down, as above, so below, and dualism. And you can see here now the use of both these symbols in connection. Here is the sign of the benediction. And it is originating, actually this is now, look, it's the peace sign. So it's the two fingers apart. And in this case, as was the image of the Il Cornuto, you can see the reflection now looks like a goat with horns. So you can understand that. Now this originator of this is the Hand of Power of Rome. And so there is a sculpture of the Hand of Power. And that Hand of Power, this, of course, used by priests, and you'll see that in this section. This is Constantine on a coin, the founder of the Roman Catholic Church. I believe Constantine's conversion was a false conversion, and Rome was a false church to begin with. And so you can see the Roman hand of power in the priests, in the monks, and the popes, and the cardinals. And they even make Jesus do this as well. And Jesus did not do that. I'm going to tell you that this is their depiction and their Jesus is another Jesus that we are warned about as a believer. We're warned that the Apostle Paul tells us, and very deliberately tells us, there is other Jesuses and false Christs that will arise, and this is what that is. Lady Gaga as well. Now with the sign of the benediction, you can see that again. And Jack Black, as above, so below. When you see it in this context and the use of the two fingers, you know that the dual symbolism is being used. This is Daryl Hall. I took this photograph at 7-Eleven. You can see here Conan with the two fingers. This is also an allegiance to Rome. So you can understand that is a Baphomet symbol, sign of the benediction, and Roman. Now you see this triple symbolism, Roman allegiance, Baphomet, as well as hiding the eye. And you can understand now and begin to understand that Roman Catholicism has nothing to do with Christianity. It is a veil, thick veil of Christianity. Actually, if you really think about it, it's a very thin veil of Christianity. Looks like maybe Christianity, but in fact far from it. And you can see these artists here, or these puppets here, doing their thing. Now, sometimes I was led to believe that, oh yeah, this is some kind of a hand sign. And for the masses, we just go, okay, yeah, yo, whatever, and use these hand signs. And I know that sounds cheesy, but that's the way it is. We imitate these people, and these people at the top level are indoctrinating you. Okay, so we have this. You can see the dancers doing this, Miley Cyrus. This is 2012 Grammy Awards. Now we have the Mickey symbolism here. You see the sign of the benediction, and not only the Mickey, but you have the skull and crossbones. They have multiple symbols that we're going to cover in the second part of this, or a little bit later in this presentation. Ozzy Osbourne, you can see now using the two fingers. This is V. That is that TV series about aliens coming. And so now she uses this sign of the benediction. That's pretty sick, if you ask me. Aliens now coming out and using this religious symbol. And this religious symbol is literally Luciferian or satanic. Now another method, you can see here, Black Eyed Peas. They do everything. They all do everything. You can see here now looks like she's shooting herself, but I can assure you that that is another variant just to throw you off, that they're doing this two-finger sign of the benediction. Of course she does that, and then she does this vulgar, obscene hand sign. She's shooting at you with the two fingers. When you see it in context of everything that she does, then you understand why she does it. This is the Snoop Doggy Dogg album cover, and you can see the sign of the benediction. And of course, that sign of the benediction with all of these. And it's not being against a religious, they're all the same thing. Malice in Wonderland, and now you're going to understand, maybe I should briefly cover it. Monarch Programming and Alice in Wonderland is a reference to mind control and programming. That whole thing is about fantasy and generating multiple personalities in this world, and then there's a reference to Wonderland throughout. And anyway, I know it's probably hard for you to understand yet, but let's go through this. Continue. Here we have the two-finger symbolism with the single eye symbolism, Eye of Lucifer, Mad Magazine. Now, tarot cards, the Hierophant. Look how similar the Hierophant is as a tarot card to the Pope. You can see here in this image, absolutely similar. And you can see the two keys, or the papal keys, used in Rome. And you see here the triple cross. Apparently that triple cross is heaven, earth, and hell in the same symbology. And you see the sign of the benediction. And the triple tiara, same thing. Heaven, earth, the God of heaven, earth, and hell. So you have all of this. Look how similar it is to Rome and the Pope in a tarot card. This is Aleister Crowley's tarot card, and you see he wanted his name actually pronounced Crowley instead of Crowley because he wanted to rhyme with holy, and I don't want to do that. I'll call him Crowley in this case. I don't want to give them any credit at all. But his tarot card, this is the Triquetra, which is the similar meaning in the triple cross, the Triquetra. And then you have man, or a baby, in this case an infant, in the up pointing star, and you have this elongated down pointing star representing the fallen angel. You also have biblical references to animals in the book of Revelation, and again, this is counterfeitism, and then you have the sign of the benediction. It also is peculiar to note that this is also the oath of the Roman soldier. Hitler was a Roman Catholic, and therefore he indoctrinated his soldiers in the Roman Catholic way, and therefore the oath of the Roman soldier is the sign of the benediction. I swear by God, and believe me, the God that they're swearing by is not the God that I serve. So we can see here the Nazis doing the sign of the benediction. All of them, my goodness. Here we have a neo-Nazi. Now this is key because he understands that this Nazi arm salute is actually the Roman salute, as well as the sign of the benediction, which is a Roman benediction as well. He understands that, and so this neo-Nazi, he's educated. I have to give him credit for that, but he's on the wrong side. The Pope's army, this is the Swiss Guard. 500 years of the Papal Swiss Guard. These guys were very good at what they did. Now they've really been relegated to being more of fashion, or what is it, ceremonial. And so we have on coins, and you see the sign of the benediction. This is a three-finger method, but there are also two-finger methods. You can see that they just hold the finger close, but these guys actually hold it outward. And so, but it is the same sign. And then now we have finally, this is Napoleon, who installed himself as emperor. Sometimes you see in history where Napoleon goes against the Pope. These are, to me, in history, as far as revisionist history, meant to be diversions, to show opposition against something. And so all of this stuff is, to me, done in concert and uniform throughout history to show you that there are opposing forces when in fact they're actually the same force. So he's actually installed himself as emperor, and he has the Roman sign of the benediction here in allegiance to that system and that religious system. And of course the laurel leaves being Caesar and all of that. And this is a 5-pointed Maltese style cross. I've come to find out that it is called the Order of the Phoenix. I can't confirm that, but it is a 5-pointed star and a special Maltese cross. Now this is the final plate in this series of Baphomet, and these are cartoon depictions in Freemasonry of the admiration and exaltation of the goat. And now biblically we should understand that Jesus said that he is the good shepherd and that his sheep know him and follow him. So this distinction between the sheep and the goat. Sheep are the good, and the Bible also says we like sheep have gone astray, and Jesus comes after us, even leaving the flock behind to go after even just one that goes astray. So his love for us in this fashion. And so we are the sheep. I am considered of that. Jesus is also the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. So in this case, he is the sacrificial lamb. So understanding this idea that there is an opposition between goats and sheep, and in this case, they are the goats, which are the evil ones. And that is a reference to that, and they admire this. So they have this riding the goat, the first degree, are you a Mason? And it's clear then to understand that they're in opposition to the Bible. When they may look like they're following the Bible, have a Bible in the lodge, place their hand on a Bible, wear a cross, all of this stuff are smoke screens to have you believe otherwise. So we have here the Grand Lodge in season, them hanging out with goats, riding the goats. Are you a Mason? Look at all of these cartoons. Now I'm going to quickly move through these. Passing. You can't get a Mason's goat. The password, don't tell the wife. So do you really want to be married to a Mason who's not going to tell? So this is a part of this brotherhood. Are you a Mason? Riding the goat again. So we can understand this fascination.